And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, a major triumph for the USA in Europe as NATO members hail President Trump's leadership. And everyone but Spain, they agreed to pay their fair share to NATO. A huge win for President Trump. There is no doubt at all whatsoever who the leader of the free world is tonight. Now, meanwhile, back at home, big trouble for America's biggest city. We will show you how Donald Trump responded to the communist lunatic that the Democrats nominated to run New York City as the radical Democratic Party lurches even farther to the left. Plus, the city's Republican mayoral candidate, Curtis Sliwa, who now has a real shot in the general election. Due to a crowded field of liberals and Democrats and radicals, he will weigh in. And later, Joy Reid thinks there is one person, who can save the Democratic Party. Her name, Jasmine Crockett. Take a look.
Who cares what the party label is? Give me an effective fighter. If Jasmine Crockett is the most effective fighter, give me Jasmine Crockett. And I really don't care what you have to move around or who you have to disappoint in order to give me her. Just give me her, because we need a leader.
I agree with Joy Reid. Jasmine Crockett for president. We'll have much more of the sad state of affairs with the Democratic Party. That's coming up. But first, what a difference a new year, a new president can make. Wow. Just think, this was our sad reality less than 12 months ago. Remember that moment? NATO, let me go take a walk. Lost, dazed, confused, confounded. In Europe, Joe Biden wandering off while European leaders awkwardly, come on back, Joe, over here. Yeah, come back to the fold, Joe. We got to take a picture. Anyway, thanks to President Trump, American leadership is back in a big way. Now, after Trump took a decisive action to obliterate Iran's nuclear program and then negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after only 12 days at war, NATO's General Secretary or Secretary General called him a man of strength, a man of peace. But he also made headlines today for referring, this cracked me up, to our president as Daddy. Take a look.
They fought like hell, and then they said, let's stop. And they're going to build themselves. And I really see it as sticking. I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
All right. Now, in case you were wondering, here is how President Trump responded to the new title after being asked a question by Sky News. And watch Secretary of State Marco Rubio in the background laughing hysterically. Take a look.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
But do you
he did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
That is hilarious. Anyway, maybe, just maybe, a father figure is exactly what NATO needed. The huge takeaway, NATO members now have finally agreed to pay their fair share, increase their defense spending to 5% of their GDP. That more than doubles their previous requirement. Why? All because all of you elected Donald Trump. He insisted on peace through strength. He insisted now our allies adopt the Trump doctrine. Unfortunately, there is one country that doesn't want to play ball, at least not yet. And now Donald Trump is vowing to respond with a little bit of tough love. Take a look.
Oh, I think Spain's terrible what they've done. No, I do. They're the only country that won't pay the full up. They want to stay at 2%. I think it's terrible. And, you know, they're doing very well. The economy is very well. And that economy could be blown right out of the water with something bad happening. You know, Spain is the only country that... Are you from Spain? Yeah. Good. Congratulations. You're the only country that is not paying. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's too bad. So we'll make it up. You know what we're going to do? We're negotiating with Spain on a trade deal. We're going to make them pay twice as much. And I'm actually serious about that.
It really is nobody else like him. Anyway, at the end of the day, this is about peace through strength and keeping the world safer. President Trump is now forcing Europe to grow a backbone, stand up for themselves, and President Trump knows that weakness will invite aggression from countries like China, Russia, Iran. Now, this president just wants the dying to stop. Now, Listen to his comments to a reporter whose husband is serving in the Ukrainian army. Take a listen to this. Watch this.
BBC News Ukrainian. I would
Where are
like
you
to ask
from?
you. I'm from Ukraine.
Oh.
So my question to you is whether or not the U.S. is ready to sell anti-air missile systems Patriot to Ukraine. We know that Russia has been pounding Ukraine really heavily right now.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you're very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw actually, because he wanted me to be
Is your
there.
husband a soldier? No?
He's,
He's there now?
yeah,
Wow. That's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
in Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available.
Now, can you believe Democrats, the state-run legacy media mob, tried to smear President Trump as some kind of warmonger? Nothing, as we all can see every day, can be further from the truth. Nobody, no world leader is putting more effort, no world leader in modern history has put more effort into bringing about peace around the globe than President Donald J. Trump. Unfortunately, the truth doesn't really matter to the raging lunatics on the left. They will say they will do anything to disparage the president. They wanted to impeach him after taking out the nuclear sites of the #1 state sponsor of terror. That kind of tells you a lot. Just take a look at the latest bogus so-called reporting surrounding the U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear sites. A fake news CNN reporter named Natasha Bertrand now triumphantly claims that the president's strikes did not obliterate Iran's nuclear sites at all. Now, keep in mind, this is the very same reporter who confidently authored this untrue story in 2020 with the headline, "Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinformation. Dozens of former intel officials say." The same reporter also somehow believed that actual Russian disinformation in the Hillary Clinton bought and paid for dirty Russian dossier was totally legit. The op-ed in the Washington Post accused her of bootstrapping the dossier into an MSDNC gig. In 2018, Natasha even suggested that Putin was having buyer's remorse for helping Donald Trump win the election. Can't make it up. She still has a job. What a shock. Take a look.
Well, I think you hear a lot of talk about Russia having buyer's remorse, about how they kind of regret helping to elect Donald Trump because Donald Trump really has not been the kind of partner that they could have wanted or hoped for. But you also have to remember that Donald Trump has not chosen to implement sanctions. He has not exactly been a hypercritical, leader on the world stage of Russia. So in that sense, Russia kind of lucked out. But if you take, for example, the Steele dossier at kind of face value, or you take that as any kind of guide, there was a lot of internal dissent within the Russian government about whether or not and to what extent the Russians should interfere in the U.S. election and coordinate with Donald Trump. And there were some that were saying that it was too ambitious. They were going to get caught. It was just not a good idea. And apparently, Putin was very, very set on this project.
Now, this anti-Trump hack has zero credibility, and so do her Trump-hating sources. In a statement today, the CIA debunked Bertrand's reporting, quote, "A body of credible intelligence indicates that Iran's nuclear program has been severely damaged by the recent targeted strikes. This includes new intelligence from a historically reliable and accurate source that several key Iranian nuclear facilities were destroyed and would have to be rebuilt over the course of many years." Meanwhile, over on Truth Social, President Trump called for Natasha to be fired from fake news CNN. They wonder why they're called fake news. Anyway, quote, "I watched her for 3 days doing fake news. She should be immediately reprimanded and then thrown out like a dog. She lied on the laptop from hell story, and now she lied on the nuclear site story, attempting to destroy our Patriot pilots by making them look bad when in fact they did a great job and hit pay dirt. Total obliteration." Not only did President Trump eliminate the nuclear threat from Iran and negotiate a ceasefire in the region, but he also galvanized his base. Look at this. A whopping 90% of Trump voters approve of his strikes on Iran. But it's not just his base. We have new polls out from Robert Cahaly in Trafalgar and Matt Towery, Insider Advantage. We'll get an update from them in a minute. A large majority of the American people approve of Donald Trump's actions in the Middle East. And, of course, the president had a very strong partner in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But according to President Trump, Netanyahu, he continues to face his own witch hunt in Israel and has been summoned to court on Monday. Well, President Trump, he's rightly mad, and he is now calling on Israel to cancel the trial while praising the prime minister. Quote, he said, Bibi and I just went through hell together fighting a very tough and brilliant longtime enemy of Israel, Iran. And Bibi could not have been better, sharper, or stronger in his love for the incredible Holy Land. Anybody else would have suffered losses, embarrassment, and chaos. Trump continued, it was the United States of America that saved Israel, and now it is going to be the United States of America that saves Bibi Netanyahu. This travesty of justice cannot be allowed. And I will echo those statements. How ungrateful it would be for the people of Israel, after all the prime minister did, after all that President Trump did, to take away the biggest existential threat and a nuclear-armed Iran, to turn around the next week and put your prime minister, a hero, on trial? That is madness beyond what Donald Trump went through here, and it was madness here. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.